Daniel here for Tabletop for One. Please join me at the table as I play through Dreams of Yesterday. And I thank you for joining me for the solo playthrough of Dreams of Yesterday. Dreams of Yesterday is a set collection card drafting game that is currently on Backerkit right now. So I suggest that you pause the video, check out the link in my comments, because I believe there's only a couple days left to back this game. It's already got a few hundred backers, but it could use some more. And if you're looking for a small box solo game, or even a multiplayer game, this is one to definitely check out. I will also post a preview video shortly for the game as well. I apologize I'm late to the party, but here we go. So I've set this up for the solo game. I'll be on the left side here, and the AI will be on the right. Each player gets a double resource card and a single artifact card. You're going to remove 5 cards from the main deck, which I've placed in here at the beginning of the game. And then from the remainder of the deck, you're going to remove all the earn cards. So these cards here with this symbol, you'll also see them with the symbol down here in the corner because they're on the back side. And so you'll remove all those cards from the main deck. They will get shuffled in the first time you shuffle the discard pile. And then you take the remaining deck here, you're going to shuffle it up. And these are going to get kind of shuffled, flipping them around, that sort of thing. So you shuffle them up, setting it up with an artifact, and then a resource, then an artifact, resource, and artifact. That's going to be the starting position of the market. It's called the history. And so on your turn, you're going to be choosing one of these cards in a clockwise fashion. This is your starting space right here. And so I'll be starting here, and I get to choose from the next 2 cards in a clockwise fashion. So it'll be these 2 here. If I want to go further and choose a card later, I'll have to spend extra resources to move that many spaces. But sometimes you have ongoing abilities that allow you to go further. So if you see my artifact here, lets me go 1 space further on the track. So in this case here, I actually have the ability to choose this card, or this card. And so what you're trying to do is you're trying to set up 2 exhibits for your museum. So your museum has 3 floors. The top floor is for your resources, where your storehouse, and the bottom 2 floors are going to be for exhibits. So you're going to build out exhibits, and you're going to try and match exhibits together and have a big exhibit of the same kind of artifacts. So like I'd want to match these horses here together, or maybe this one and this one. I'm not sure if that's a horse. But anyways, so you're going to match those together, or maybe the 2 portraits together, or maybe the fossils together. You're going to try and create sets of them, and then later on you're going to close the exhibit or finish off the exhibit with one of the earn cards, which can score you a ton of points. And I'll show you that as I go here. So if I want to take any one of these cards, I'm going to have to choose based off of what I can afford, or take a resource. So right here, if I just take this resource, I would add it to my storehouse. If I wanted this card here, it requires knowledge and money. The money's the purple there, and the knowledge is the green. Or sometimes cards require prestige, which is that trophy there. So in this case here, I cannot yet afford this artifact because I do not have any money. I could take this knowledge here if I wanted to. But I also already have 1 knowledge, and with my ability to go 1 space further, I could buy this artifact right now. And I think I'm going to do that. And the reason why is because this artifact provides another ability, and this allows me to flip a card in the market if I'm going to take that card. So I could, in effect later, flip this over and instead take that resource if I wanted to. And so I'm going to take this card, add it to my exhibit. Well, first I have to pay for it, so I'm going to pay this resource card. Now it did cost me 2 resources, even though the cost is only 1. This is all I have at the moment, so it's a little overspending. But I'll take this card and add it to my exhibit. And so I can decide whether I want to add it to this existing exhibit, so I can place it on the right or on the left. If you place it on the left, you tuck it underneath and you don't get its ability. If you place it on the right, I cover up this one's ability, but I have this one exposed. However, I can start a second exhibit. Remember, there's 2 floors to the exhibit. And so I'll go ahead and start this one in a second exhibit. That way I have both of these abilities active and usable. And so at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this top card here of the draw deck. I'll place it in my starting position, and I get to decide which side I want to place it on. This is called a diverse discovery. And the way these ones work, well, first of all, they cost 1 of each resource or 3 of a kind. But when it comes to the sets and scoring for sets, if I place it next to this portrait here, it'll count as part of the set of portraits. So if I'm scoring portraits at the end of the game, this will count as a set of 2. If I had these together like this would not only count for the portraits, but it would also count for the horse here. I'm sorry, just check. This is called antiquities. So it would count for the antiquities here. So I'd have a set of 2 antiquities and a set of 2 portraits or cultural curiosities. Sorry, I'm not going to get all the terminology down because it's too much for me to remember, so I shorthand it. But anyways, so that's how that card works. It's kind of like a wild, but it doesn't count for scoring urns, which you'll discover later. So I have to decide, do I want it on the resource side or the artifact side? And so I'm going to place it on its artifact side here. And there's a reason I did that, because we're going into the AI's turn. And the AI, it's going to follow kind of like a priority list or a flow chart almost. It's a very small one, and it doesn't take long to remember. And it's going to look at its resources, and if it's got 1 or 2 resource cards, it's going to look at the top card of the deck. If the top card of the deck is a single artifact or a single resource, it would buy an artifact at this point. But since this is a double artifact, it's just going to take a resource. So it's going to take this one here and add it to its storehouse. Now the next turn, since it has 3 resources, it will buy an artifact. So I have to keep that in mind. At this point then, it's the end of the AI's turn. Then AI is going to take this card here and place it. And according to its rules, if it has 2 or more resource cards, it will place this exhibit side up. So it'll place this here. And then it comes to my turn. So I'm starting from this space here, and I can go to 1, 2, or 3 of these spots here. I had to decide which one I want. Now I don't have any resource cards, so what I want to look at here is the possibility of flipping one of these over because of the ability on my portrait here, and taking the resources on the other side. You'll notice at the bottom right corner here, it tells you what's on the other side of the card. So this one has a double resource. I definitely want that, especially since it matches up with this one here. I want to have that possibility, so I'm going to flip it over, add it to my storehouse, and then I'm going to take this card here and flip it over, and place it there. And now it's the AI's turn, so it has 3 resources here, and that means it's going to buy an artifact. And it's going to buy an artifact based on priority here. It can go to 1, 2, or 3 spaces always. If it goes to the 3rd space, it's got to pay extra resources. However, the AI can always gain an artifact when it's buying an artifact, even if it doesn't have enough resources. But in this case here, it's going to look at what's available, and it's going to try and match up to make a bigger set of what it already has. So right now, it's looking at this card here because it has a portrait on it. And so it costs 2 resources plus 1 for going that 3rd extra step. So it'll pay all 3 of these resources, gain this card, and if this was just a single card, it would prefer the left side, but since it wants to match up the set, it's going to tuck it under here and match it up here. Now note that the AI does not activate any of the card abilities, it just ignores those. And so at this point, it's going to place a card now. And since it does not have any resources, it wants resources on the field, so it'll place it resource side up. Now it's back to my turn. And so I definitely need more resources on the field. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with this one here. And I'm going to flip it over. Now I have one of each resource. I think that's going to be more useful for me. And so I'm going to take this card here. And I think I can choose either side here. I think I'm going to choose this side because of a horse here. Or the antiquities. I will try to gain that card later if I can and add it to my set. And so now that the deck is out, we take the discard pile plus all of the urn cards that were set aside at the beginning of the game. And we're just going to shuffle these up here and get them ready for the next draw. So anytime the deck runs out, you're going to shuffle the discard pile and set it back up. Now the game is going to end when there is no draw pile and no discard pile. In other words, you can't refill the histories again, so the game will end. Or if 2 complete exhibits with urns are finished. And so now it's the AI's turn and it wants resources. It would first go for double resources, but there are no double resources available. So it's going to take this first one here and add it to its storehouse. Then it's going to take this card here. And since he only has one resource, he would want to place a resource on the field. However, this card neither has a resource nor a double resource on either side here. So in that case, it gets placed as it was in the draw pile, that face up in that spot. And so now it's my turn, and I have some good options here. So I can go ahead and take this one if I'd like, because it only costs these 2 here, and I think that's what I'm going to do. It's going to grant me a new ability here because I'm going to place it here covering up my old ability. But now check this out. I have a permanent money symbol, so I always have money to spend on artifacts. Only on artifacts, but I always have money to spend on artifacts. So I'm going to set that there. That's going to be a nice addition to my museum. And so then I'm going to take this card and I got to decide. I think I'll go ahead and flip it over because I want the ability to have more resources. And so now it's the AI's turn, and it has one resource card. So with that in mind, it's going to look at the top of the deck here to determine what it's going to do. Since there's a single artifact here, which the urn counts as a single artifact, it's going to buy an artifact. Again, it can go for the 3 spaces here, and there's only one artifact available, so it's going to go ahead and buy this one. It can afford it anyways. And it's going to tuck it in under here to match up with that set. Paying its cost. And then it's going to add this card to the display. It would want to add another resource card to the display, but there's not any resources available on this particular card because it's an artifact on both sides. So it's just going to place it face up like it was on the deck. And so now it's my turn, and I definitely like the look of this double resource card. It would be nice to have. But I think I'm going to go for this double resource card, mainly because I don't want the AI to get it. So I'm going to have to spend an extra resource to move 3 spaces. Because normally I can move 1 or 2, but if I want to move an extra space, I have to spend a resource. So I'll spend that resource to get this one. I mean, it's a net positive of 1 knowledge, but I think it's worth it. I think that's what I need. And then I'm going to flip over this card here, and I think I'm going to keep it on this side because I might be able to add it to this spot. We'll see. And so now it's the AI's turn, and it wants resources. So it's going to look at the first 3 spaces, take this one here, and then since it has 1, it's going to add a resource to the board. So it'll flip this over, placing that there. And now it's my turn. And now I've got a decision to make. I think what I want to do is I actually want to take this card, but I'm going to use my ability and flip it over. That's going to give me 3 knowledge. And the reason I want to do that is I want to have the ability to pick up this card maybe. Or maybe I should pick up this urn. Might be a little too early for that. Yeah, definitely too early for the urn. But I definitely like having the amount of resources that I have available there. And so I'll take this card here. And, I think I'll keep it on this side. So now it's the AI's turn. I guess I didn't plan this very well because it has a single card, so it's going to look at the deck. The deck has a single artifact. That means it's going to buy an artifact. There's only one artifact available, so it's going to take this one here. And note, it does cost 3 resources, but the AI doesn't have to have enough resources, so it just spends the one it has to buy the card and adds it to increase the largest of the sets that it has. And in this case, since both are even, it'll pick the right side there. And now it's going to add this card to the display, flipping it over, putting more resources out. And so right now I'm looking at picking up this one here because it has the ability to buy it for 3 of the same resources. And I have 3 here. It would cost me an extra resource to move 1, 2, 3, which there's an extra resource there. So I think it's worth it. I'm going to pay those there. I'm going to take this one and I'm going to add it underneath here. Now that makes it so I have 3 of the antiquities together, and that's going to score me a decent amount of points. And I'll go ahead and add the double resource to the field because I think I'm going to end up picking that up. Now it's the AI's turn. It needs resources, so it's going to go ahead and grab this one there. And since it only has 1 resource card, it's going to take this card here, add it as a resource to the field. Now it's my turn. I'm going to go ahead and grab this double resource and add it to my storehouse. Then I'm going to take this one here and I'm going to flip it over. And now it's the AI's turn. And so it only has 1 resource card. So it's going to look at this as a single artifact. That means it's going to buy an artifact. So the only artifact available for it is the urn. So the way the urns work for the AI is the AI sets them aside when it buys them. So we'll pay for it here. And the urns can work for either of the exhibits it has at the end of the game. The game will not end for the AI if it obtains more than 1 urn, as in 2 urns. It only will end if I close off both my exhibits. So the AI is going to try and gain a lot of urns and boost its end game scoring if possible. So I have to be careful how many urns I put out on the field. And with that in mind, the AI is going to place a card here. I'm just going to place this one just as it is, since it wants to place a resource card, and this is not a resource card, so it'll place it there. And now we're going to shuffle again. Alright, now it's my turn. I definitely want this double resource, so I'll just go ahead and add it to my display here. And then I'll take this one here and place it like this. And now it's the AI's turn. It wants a resource, so it'll take this one here. Since it only has 1 resource, it'll place a resource out in the field. And so then it's my turn here, and I'm going to go ahead and take this card, adding it to my storehouse. And then I will place this one like so. And now it's the AI's turn. It has 1 card. It'll look to the display. It's a double artifact card, which means it's going to go for a resource card now. And so it'll take the double resource card here, adding it to its display. And then since it has 2 resource cards at this point, it's going to add this exhibit side up to the history. I'm really not liking my card choices here. I definitely want what's on the back side here, so I'll flip it over using my portrait ability. I need to spend 1 of each resource plus 1 because I win 1 extra space. So I have 1 money already. Here's 2 money, 3 money, and the extra resource. So I'll spend those there. Adding this to my display here. And I think I'll put it here. And the reason why I didn't put this here is because it doesn't add to that antiquities set if I place it there. Because it counts as part of either side of sets. Now, so I wanted to start another set here and hopefully get another portrait somehow, some way, or something else to add on the other side and extend my scoring. And so I'll go ahead and place this here. Here. So once again, it's the AI is going to look at what it has here. It has 2 resource cards. That means it'll still check out what's on top of the deck. It's a double artifact, which means it's going to go for a resource card instead. So we're going 1, 2, 3 spaces to take this one here. Now it's got plenty of resources. And then it's going to take this one and add it to the field, exhibit side up, right there. I really wish I could buy this right now because the AI is going to get it. So I don't have enough resources right now to buy anything within view. So I'm going to go ahead and take this double resource card and then add this one to the display resource side up. And now we're down to 2 cards here. Unless one of us starts spending, we might run out real quick. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle them up. And so now it's the AI's turn. It has 3 artifact cards, which means it'll buy an artifact for sure. It's going to look at these 3 spaces. It prefers the diverse discoveries, then double artifacts, then single artifacts. So in this case here, it's going to go ahead and buy this one. Now it's going to cost 3 resources plus 1 to buy it. And the AI is going to do that the most efficient way. So it's going to be these 2 cards here, which is total 4 resources. It's going to add it. And this one's going to add on this side, extending the antiquities exhibit here. And then the AI is going to add a card to the display. He only has 1 resource card, so he's going to put this one resource side up. Alright, now it's my turn. And I think I'll go ahead and exercise my ability to flip this card over. And I'm going to take this card and place it here. It's going to cost me knowledge and prestige. And I'll go ahead and pay for that. Now I've extended this set, and it's a 3 set now. I've also added this ability, which gives me knowledge. So I have a lot of knowledge and money right now, so that's pretty good. And then I'll add this card to the display, and I think I'm going to flip it over. Alright, then we get to shuffle again. Thankfully, there's cards left, because I don't think I have enough to beat the AI in scoring yet. And now it's the AI's turn. It only has 1 resource. It's going to look here. It shows a double resource, which means it's going to go for resources. Again, it'll only try to buy an artifact if it has 3 resource cards, or if this shows a single resource or a single artifact. So it'll take this resource card, adding it to its display. Then it's going to flip this one over as an exhibit. It is really a tough call of what to do right now. I kind of want this card, and I think that's what I'm going to go for. So I'm going to take this one, and it's going to cost me 2 knowledge. Well, I have a knowledge here and a knowledge here, plus 1 for going 3 spaces, so that money will cover it. And the question is, do I want to place it here or here? I think I'll go ahead and place it on this one. Maybe that's not the best move, but that's what I'm going to do. And then I'll add the double knowledge to the display. And now it's the AI's turn. So it has 2 cards, 2 resource cards. It's going to look to the deck here. It's a single artifact, so that means it's going to buy an artifact. So once again, it prefers this one here. And so it'll buy this one here. It'll cost 3 resources. It wants to extend its longest run, but at this point, with diverse discoveries on either end, it cannot extend those runs at all. So it's going to start a new exhibit. And then it's going to place this resource side up, and we'll shuffle these cards. And now it's my turn, so I'm going to go ahead and take this double resource. I think that's going to be helpful. And I'll take this card and place it there. And now it's the AI's turn. It needs resources, so it's going to take this resource card, and it's going to place this one resource side up right here. And so with my 1 prestige that I have on this card here, I'm going to buy this one and add it, but I think I'll place it right. That's tough choice. I think I'll place it here. And then that'll add this one to the display. I guess it really doesn't matter which side I put it on because the game is about to end. And so I'm at this place where it's not exactly clear in the rules how this game is going to end at this point. So technically the game ends when you can't refill the history display, but it is filled currently. The AI has 1 resource card, which means it looks to the deck to decide which action it's going to do. There's nothing there. So either the game ends now and I score, or the AI takes the final turn and buys a last card. Now I would assume it's going to buy a card. And so what would happen here is it would buy this one since it's a double artifact and within 3 spaces. We'll place it here. It'll pay this. This becomes the new discard pile, shuffled over here to be the draw pile. The AI is going to place it. as a resource card on the board. Then it goes to my turn. And so now I have the ability to buy a card. I have 2 knowledge here, and I could buy this one and add it to my display, which I think I'll go ahead and do that. Spending the 2 money, which becomes the discard, then the draw pile, and then I place it back out. At this point, it's not going to matter because the AI will choose to take a resource based off its priority. And now the history can't be refilled and the game ends. And so I'll go ahead and count up my score. And so the scoring is as follows here. You have a chart here. You're going to get set bonuses based off of how many are in each set. So if it's a single card, it's 1 point. If it's 2 cards, it's 3. 3, it's 6. 4 for 10. 5 for 15. 6 for 21. So if we look at my set here, I have 2 of the fossil displays here because it goes with the diverse discoveries here. So that's 3 points. I have 3 of the antiquities. So that's 6 more points. So that's 9 plus 1. So I got 10 there. Then I have 11 plus 3. So 14 plus 6, 20 plus 3, 23 plus 1. So 24 points is my grand total. I did not have any earns at the end. I would have had a lot more points if I did. And we go on to the AI here. It's got 6 plus 6, 12 plus 3, so 15, and then 16. So, and then with the earn, it gets 1 point for the earn plus a bonus point here. So that's 18 points. It did not finish this set of earns because I was managing to keep most of the fossils away from it earning those extra set bonuses. If it had a set of 3 of these artifacts in its exhibit here, it would have scored an extra 6 points and we would have tied. But as it stands, I won 24 to 18. And so this has been a solo playthrough of Dreams of Yesterday. So please, by all means, ask me questions in the comments below. I will do a 5 after 5 preview of this game shortly and get it to you as soon as possible because I know the Backerkit is closing rather quickly here. And I want you to have that ability to back the game if it's something you're looking for. I believe it's only $9. This case here is a prototype case. I've been told that they are going to make this slightly larger. It is like a wallet size case, so I like that. You're able to carry it anywhere and play it at any time. I like the art. The art looks really nice. I believe it's art by Beth Sobel. I like all the colors. Everything looks really nice. I like the fact that the cards are double-sided. There's some really interesting choices there, but I'll give you more information in my preview video. Again, let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Please check out the link to the Backerkit. You got 2 days left to check that out. Maybe there will be a late pledge option. I don't know, but definitely check it out. And I thank you very much for watching Tabletop for One, and have a great night.